Hey guys, it's Meg, and I want to talk to you today a little bit about PNF stretching. So PNF stretching actually stands for proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. So P is proprioceptive and neuromuscular, and then the F is facilitation. I don't expect you to remember all of that always say that. Just like when we talked about SMR, we don't say, we're going to do some self-myofascial release today. We just call it SMR stretching. So you can just refer to PNF stretching as just PNF. Okay. It was originally created as a therapeutic modality for physical therapists. Physical therapists use this all the time, and they still use it in practice today. But it's also been geared a little bit more toward athletic trainers and personal trainers have kind of picked it up over the last several years. We have a ton of reading in your module this week, which goes back and talks about PNF and exactly how to do it and all the things like that. I just want to get into the nitty-gritty today with you briefly about that. So make sure you're doing your reading. You have a whole chapter about PNF. It was originally created as a therapeutic modality, and the goal really is to use contraction and relaxation in order to increase the range of motion in a joint or group of joints. So the fastest way that you are going to be able to improve a client's flexibility is actually through PNF stretching. Not a ton of people use it unless you're really an athlete or someone who knows a lot about exercise in general. It really should be used more often. So I think it's a really great tool for you to use with your clients. It's one of the main types of stretching that we talk about in this class, and hopefully that you will continue to use with your clients as you move on. Okay. So our ACSM guidelines for PNF are a 3 to 6 second light to moderate contraction, and they give an example of 20 to 75% maximal contraction, followed by a 10 to 30 second assisted stretch is desirable. That's kind of the ACSM true facts. Let's keep it easy, right? So the idea here is you are going to contract for about 6 seconds. You're going to have a client contract their muscle group for 6 seconds at about 50% of max. We don't want them putting all out max effort into the contraction. We just want about 50, maybe even 75% maximal effort into the contraction, and then they're just going to hold it for 30 seconds. We know that static stretches are held for between 20 and 30 seconds for average age adults. So let's just use the 30-second rule, right? It's easy, it's less for you to remember. So keep it easy when you're making your workouts for this class and making your exercise programs. 6-second contraction and hold for 30 seconds. Okay. PNF, there are no specific PNF stretches. Any static stretch can ultimately become a PNF by just adding that contraction phase of the workout. So you see here, this client is laying on their back and they're stretching out their hamstring. Just giving a 6-second contraction to that hamstring and then relaxing for 30 seconds into the stretch, that would make it a PNF stretch. Okay. You can perform PNF with a partner or on your own. It doesn't matter. You don't need a partner. You can do it on your own. I'm going to actually, I've recorded a video of a couple basic stretches that are static that I'm going to show you how to make PNF. So that's very easy. I think it's easier when you see PNF to realize, oh yeah, it actually is kind of easy. And we really should be doing it more. So once you see those videos, it'll kind of make a little bit more sense. And then remember that PNF stretching is a bit more intense than just regular static stretching. Your client will feel a deeper stretch, and they will move past a range of motion that they're generally able to achieve with static stretching. Their range of motion will increase. You'll be able to see that pretty quickly, and I'll show you an example of that in the next slide. So make sure you aren't stretching your client too far. I'm going to kind of just walk you through what a PNF stretch would look like. This this client is getting stretched here by her physical therapist or personal trainer. And I have the actual video muted. I'm just going to kind of tell you what's happening. So she's going to do that hamstring stretch with the client that we just saw. As we know, hamstrings are generally one of the tightest muscle groups for majority of Americans because we are so sedentary and we do sit at our desks or sit on the couch or sit for such long periods of time with our commute, and we go into work and we sit down at our desk, we work for a couple hours, we sit down during a meeting, we sit down at lunch, and we get back in our car and drive back home, right? So we're seated so much, generally tends to affect our hamstrings a great deal. As Americans, we tend to carry a little bit of extra weight in our midsection as well, which puts a lot of strain on our hamstrings. So weak abs, seated for extended periods of time, those hamstrings definitely become tight, which ultimately affects that low back, right? So I'm just going to press play here and I'm going to kind of walk you through this. So in order to make this stretch a PNF stretch, what she's having the client do right now is contract her hamstring. In order to contract her hamstring, all her client is doing is pushing up against her shoulder. So she's push, push, push. So she's going to push for 6 seconds. So it would be a push or a contraction up against her shoulder for 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then after that contraction, that continued push, 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 push contraction, she's going to relax and she's going to be able to sink and have a deeper stretch. So this would be the hold part. So you'll see that in just a second. Right here, now she's able to push in. She has a pretty decent range of motion. So now she's going to hold the static stretch for 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds, so let's pretend that's gone by, she's going to push, push, push again for 6 seconds. And then she relaxes, and you can see that the trainer is able to give her a much better range of motion. Okay? And then after 30 seconds, again, she would push, push, push for that 6 seconds, and then relax and sink deeper into the stretch. Okay? So that's really all PNF is. It's going to be just the idea really is that you are having that contraction basis. Okay? So you're contracting that muscle group for 6 seconds, and then you will relax and fully relax and be able to sink into the stretch and just hold it like a static stretch at that point. Then we contract that muscle group again for 6 seconds, and then we're going to be able to relax again. Now we know that the volume of exercise or the volume of stretch that we want to have a client perform is at least 60 seconds. So ideally, if you were having a client hold their static portion of their PNF stretch for 30 seconds, you would do 2 full rounds. So you would have a 6-second contraction, then a 30-second relaxation, 1 more 6-second contraction, and then a 30-second relaxation. So we have those 2 30-second static portions creating that 60-second kind of relaxation. So that hits our target volume of PNF static stretching. Okay. As I said, I did a few videos or examples, a few examples of how to make static stretches into PNF stretches. So just a few basic ones for you. So make sure you watch that. It's posted next in your module. And as always, if you guys have any questions, let me know.